get a kick out of this. I was telling some of the kids I teach actually came up with this one, where it was the New International Version Bible, the NIV, will
Mhm.
probably be the longest running Bible eventually in all human history, so long as the phonetic language and the phonetic letters hold, because the New International Version will eventually become the New Interplanetary Version, which will then eventually become the New Interstellar Version, and then, God willing, the New Intergalactic Version. Okay, so yeah, the NIV
Yeah,
Bible.
I would say maybe Intergalactic. Here's the thing: is like the reason why you had different versions in the past is because people were separated in time and space,
Mhm.
and you can't you know basically all of that ended when Marconi invented the radio, right? Probably even sooner than that because you had the ability to communicate globally through telegraphs and things like that. So prior to that, but I think now, if you're going to have new versions, I don't think interplanetary is going to work because you can still communicate pretty quickly from planet to planet. But yeah, if you have civilizations that are many light years away, then at that point you're going to have intellectual development that occurs independently of Earth, and so it's that all of a sudden distance means something again in terms of time. Whereas after the 19th century, um, after the telegraph, at least, we no longer had that issue. You can get the world's news within about a day. And now you get it in a microsecond. So I think we would have to settle civilizations that are so far away that they cannot communicate with us in an efficient way.
Hmm. Yeah, but like again,
So I think people on Mars, there's no reason for people on Mars to have a completely separate intellectual tradition because you'd still communicate within a few minutes.
yeah, like because when it comes to Mars, like the big divide will be anywhere from 5 to 17 minutes, depending on where the
Right.
planets are lined up. Because like
Right.
if I were to send, like, say you and I, like I'm
There
the
will be
ground mission
those
to
weird
Mars.
times where the Mars is behind the sun,
Yeah,
so maybe it'll be a few days before we
yeah.
can communicate. But yeah,
But usually it'll be somewhere between, you send a message to Mars and it'll be somewhere, depending on where they're lined up, from 4 to 17 minutes if it's
right,
traveling at the speed of light.
exactly. Yeah,
That's going to be the beginning of the cultural difference. Okay, that's going to be the first separation where they can't, because you and I, we're
but I feel like
communicating
on Earth the culture we've
via
had
the
much
speed of light.
bigger ones, right?
What's that?
Because on Earth we had much bigger ones. On Earth we had periods of time where to communicate with England would take months.
Yep. Yeah,
So
but no, like I'm
for it to be
talking like
a
this.
few
It's not going to be
minutes.
so much cultural, but it's going to be psychological,
Mhm.
where there's going
Yeah,
to be this different separation from us. Like they're going to become their own psychologically distinct people
right.
because like they can't do this. Like we're communicating via the speed of light through, you
Hmm.
know, through wires and the internet. They can't do that. They won't be able to do, and that'll be the first. But I still think it'll probably be, if there is a church on Mars, it's either going to be a Catholic church or a non-denominational church. It's not going
Right.
to be anything else. Like it'll be one of those two. And honestly, if you made me bet money, the Vatican's gonna beat everyone to the punch on that one. They got the money, they got the
Yeah.
resources. They're gonna make that happen. But now,
Yeah.